wrong. I thought I could just hire like a normal accountant in town to do my taxes at the end of the year. That didn't work. And so she paid for herself. Like I got so much money back and I got out of what could have been a horrible audit just by hiring an e-commerce based accountant.
Yeah, and that's a great point too. I mean, you want someone that knows e-commerce. One of the things we learned through interviewing a lot of e-commerce sellers is every time they would go to their run-of-the-mill bookkeeper, their average accountant, their person in their town who didn't know e-commerce, that again just created another mess that had to be cleaned up later, because e-commerce is just a whole nother animal when you're dealing with Amazon and inventory and cost of goods sold and all that kind of stuff. And especially if you're looking to maybe sell your business down the line, and we live in the age of aggregators and people buying up brands, you need clean books if you're going to be able to do it. So some other kind of tips there. So don't keep track of your books on an Excel or a Google Sheet. QuickBooks and Xero are the two main players in the space. Over here at EcomBalance, we're not trying to reinvent them or build our own QuickBooks. We're compatible with both of them. We personally like QuickBooks. Other people might disagree. But Amazon also doesn't make it easy on you, and you know this, and you really need another tool to connect from Amazon to QuickBooks and Xero. And we've tried everything from Connect Books to, there's a company called Cinder, but the one that's most accurate, easiest for bookkeepers, and actually gets you the best numbers is a company called A2X. So really making sure that in your mind, it's, hey, I'm not going to do my own bookkeeping. I'm not going to get it done in Excel. I'm not just going to watch the money go into my bank account and try to understand my numbers from there. I'm going to have Amazon connect with A2X to QuickBooks or Xero, and I'm going to get an income statement, a balance sheet, and a cash flow within 10 days of each month being over. And I'm going to review that with my business partner, with my leadership teams, and make decisions based on those numbers. That's kind of the mentality that I want e-commerce sellers listening to get into, because that's the proper setup.
Yeah, so I use A2X, but I would say where I'm making the mistake is that I use A2X to QuickBooks, but I mostly leave it all up to my bookkeeper. Like I don't review that stuff. Like she's willing to, of course, review it with me, but I don't review it. So what I do to make sure that I'm on top of it is I take my balance sheet and I take my P&L and I calculate my monthly overhead expenses. And then I look at my profits for each product on each channel after advertising. And then I make sure that month over month that I'm tracking that, and I'm what percentage of my total overhead that product is, right? So that I'm making sure that every month my business is profitable. And on a unit economics level, I can see like, where can I move the needle? Like, can I reduce the cost in this one? Is advertising too much on this one? Do I need to just let this one go because it's tanking my business? You know, those, for me, keeping track at a unit economics level has been really, really good, but also not being afraid to look at my balance sheet and look at my P&L and understand what my monthly overhead and my, burn rate is, so that I'm making sure that my business is profitable. Because I think a lot of people don't realize that e-commerce is a scale game. And, we can't just launch one product in many cases and pay for all of our overhead, right? It takes time. It takes patience. It takes growth. We grow or we die in e-commerce. So it's really important.
Yeah, all great points. I mean, to start it off, what you mentioned, if you're an entrepreneur, you don't need to live in your QuickBooks account or live in your Xero accounts. We have some clients that for whatever reason like to do that, and they're welcome to, they have access to. But again, 9 out of 10 clients, you want to go based on the reports. You want to review the income statement, the balance sheet, and the cash flow at the end of each month. And what makes e-commerce a little different is you need segmented bookkeeping. If you're selling on different marketplaces, you want to see per marketplace. If you have different brands, I can't tell you how many sellers will sell 5 products, but only one of them is profitable, but they keep selling all 5 of them because they don't really know. They're just looking at the bottom line of their overall business. So you need to really know that and be able to break that down. And sometimes it takes creating and running custom reports to really dig deeper into your numbers. And the other side of this, and Joe Valley over at Quiet Light says this in his book all the time, you have to be doing accrual based for e-commerce. There's very
Mhm.
few ways around that. I'm fortunate enough to run a business free up that we were able to do cash basis just because we would get paid with clients and pay freelancers within a week of each other every single time. But with e-commerce, you might place an order for 50,000, 100,000 units in 1 month. And if you're doing cash basis, you're going to show a huge loss for that month. And then every other month is going to show more to be more profitable than you really are. And what does that really tell you at the end of the day? So you have to set yourself up for accrual. And it's also going to help you get a better multiple down the line if you go to sell your business. And even talking to aggregators and brokers, they love when the clients are set up as cash basis because they know that they're getting hooked up on a deal and they won't have to pay as much than if the company was actually accrual based.
Yeah, that was my other mistake that I've made a lot of mistakes that I've learned